dear friends of Symphonic Brass Music, and welcome to probably quite a short one. I'm always struggling to give myself a price tag. This is something I'm really bad in. Saying to clients, well, this is costing that much money, and you want to have a mix that costs ish, and blah blah blah. I don't have my prices online for quite a good reason, because I always think it's dependent on the project. So I can't give a price tag to a work I have to do. So if I say I have to mix a song, well, it depends. If this is just a stereo instrumental and some vocal tracks, well, that's done in an hour or something. If I have a whole track with like hundreds of own individual instruments and stuff, that will take me a few days. And saying that, there's music where I can mix like 100 instruments in a day as well, simply because it's arranged well and it's pretty easy and straightforward or something. Especially electronic music, you can mix really, really, really fast, because a lot of stuff is already in the arrangement, obviously. So it's hard to just pick a price on one thing to do. This is fine. The thing I struggle with is to calculate for myself how much money I would like to have for a certain amount of work, then stand up in front of a client and say, this costs that much money. And I'm still struggling. I get better in it, but I still struggle. But I don't try to undersell myself. So I always try not to be extremely cheap. I'm modest sometimes. And depending on the personal relationship I have with the particular client. So there might be a client I'm gonna do stuff really, really cheap just because I like working with them, or like the music, or I think I can benefit from working on that project, or I'm not 100% comfortable in it, but I want to try it anyway. So there are various factors. This price may vary, but I find it hard to stand up and say this costs ish money. But I learned something, and I'm still learning, and this is what I want to do on this channel, to give you the opportunity to learn from my stuff. If I stand up and give myself a price tag which is reasonable, but might be too high for some people, that's totally fine, because this leads to quality work which is on the level of my capabilities. I want to give you an example. And this is not offensive to the music or to the people. This is just something that's coming up regularly. People call me, write on WhatsApp, whatever, rappers that want to record something or want to have it mixed in the same session. Which is fine, I can do this. This is no problem. But most of them are just hobby rappers, which is totally fine, with no budget whatsoever. And I say, well, okay, this is my hourly rate. There you go. And they say, okay, thanks. No, that's too expensive. No, they never say that. They say they get in touch again. They come back to me, and they never will. Anyway, so I don't get the job, which is fine by me. Because I'm not a big fan of rap anyway. I mean, there's good stuff out there, obviously, but there's also a lot of stuff out there I don't particularly like, which is fine, which is okay. And but the thing with rap and all music is, if you're not really good, it won't sound really good, which is okay. So I figured most of these people coming in with really high expectations but really low skill level. And it's always really, really uncomfortable for me to have these sessions because people expect something else that I can't deliver because they're not sort of good enough yet. Which is okay, everyone is learning. I wasn't good enough for quite some time, and I still think I have to learn a whole lot. Anyway, so by giving myself a price tag, which is reasonable for me, and I think reflects on my capabilities in terms of recording, in terms of mixing, whatsoever, I already filter out all these people that are below my level, below my skill level, and would be better off by someone doing it just simply as a hobby, which is totally fine. So coming back to this example of a rapper, if you come to me with your very, very first studio experience, and that happened a lot of times. People came in, never been in the studio before. And then they stepped into the vocal booth. And I'm like, yeah, doing this all the time. This is nothing I get anxious about. But these people gone. And so what they did in here was filled with anxiety, and they weren't chill at all, and it was just not a good take. I'm like, I feel so sorry for you, but you can. I'm a firm believer that they could do better, but they weren't able in that situation because that situation was stressful for them. That record button, this situation of having a headphone on and someone talking to you on a talkback and stuff like that. If you have a friend or people you know who have a home studio and just record for fun, you just go there, maybe give them some food or some drinks or whatever, when there's no money involved, you have all the time in the world to get comfortable with that situation. And then maybe after half a year or something, and several sessions you did in your friend's bedroom, you can come to the studio, put your headphones on, and it's pretty much the same environment as you had in that no budget bedroom studio, which is fine. What do I want to say with this video? I just went a bit off course. What I want to say is, if you run a studio or you're a mixing engineer and you struggle with prices and you think by making the prices a bit too high you might lose clients, you probably will. But I think that these clients you will get by lowering the prices as much as you can, these are clients you don't want to have, and they will not bring your studio forward. By giving yourself a reasonable price, and I seriously say a reasonable price, if you're overpriced, no one will come to you because they get the same quality cheaper. But if you give yourself a reasonable price, and I can't tell any numbers because that's so personal differences, which is fine. You get the clients you are capable of handling, and everything will turn out way more smooth than it would otherwise if you are a bit too cheap. I hope you know what I mean. So sorry for that off-course rambling I did right there. I'll show you another video and then start live streaming today, as I try to do on a lot of Sundays. Thanks very, very much for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.